this world will fade. I'm pressing on till I see your face. I will live that your will be done. I won't stop till your kingdom come. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Everybody dance. Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher. Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh, oh, oh.
Buenos dias. Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Debbie. Good to see you. Bienvenidos. So for today, I'm glad you made it. And today's lesson is the story of Josiah. So we're going to watch a short film and learn about King Josiah. So we're going to make sure that we're listening, we're watching, because after the film, we're going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to do an arts and crafts project. See you in a bit.
God's masterpiece. Josiah. This is Josiah.
Heyo!
Josiah became king of Israel when he was only 8 years old.
Yep.
Now the country of Israel had a very long line of kings who did many bad things, including Josiah's father and grandfather. These kings did not follow after God, and they ignored his commandments and his law. But when Josiah became king, he did what God wanted him to and followed the example of King David.
Yeah!
18 years after Josiah became king, he sent one of his court secretary, Shaphan, to God's temple.
Thank you.
Many of the kings before Josiah did not take good care of God's house, so it was in need of repair. While they were in the temple, Hilkiah, the high priest, said to Shaphan,
Hey!
I have found the book of the law in the Lord's temple. So Shaphan took the scroll back to King Josiah and read it to him. When Josiah heard what was in the book, he was greatly upset
Oh no!
because the people of Israel were not doing the things that God asked him to do, and Josiah knew that God must be angry with Israel for not obeying his commandments. Josiah gathered together all the people of Israel to the temple
That's from the dress.
and read the entire book of the covenant to them. That very day, Josiah and all the people promised that they would obey all of what God commanded with all their hearts and souls.
We promise too!
Josiah went on to help Israel become a people fully committed to God. He tore down all the other temples and the idols that they had set up. He got rid of all the people who were doing bad things all throughout Israel. And he did all that was commanded in God's book. Never before had there been a king like Josiah who turned to the Lord with all his heart and soul and strength, obeying all the laws of Moses. And there has never been a king like him since.
Hey, good to see you again. Welcome. So I hope you enjoyed this short cartoon story of Josiah. How amazing that he became king at 8 years old. Imagine being 8 years old and ruling a kingdom. So the story takes place in 2 Kings 22. So parents, if you want to have family time with your child to be able to read the story together, I think that would be a great idea. So I really love this story. This is a great story that describes someone that had a great purpose. He didn't have really good examples in his life. Josiah didn't have a good example as a dad. And even his grandpa wasn't even a good example of following God. And so sometimes you're not going to have a good example of what it is to obey and follow God. But once they found the book of the law and Josiah read it, his heart was feeling so much hurt. And he wanted to make sure that he changed. He didn't want to be like his dad. He didn't want to be like his grandpa. And so isn't that amazing to see someone radically change to truly obey and love God? And that's what Josiah did. He made an effort to obey and love God. And even though his dad and his grandpa were not a good example, guess what? At church, there's plenty of examples. And Josiah decided to follow David. And David, as we know in the scripture, he loved God and he was not very perfect. So for today's lesson, our arts and crafts activity, what I want you guys to do is to draw, dun, 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 an eye. And so if you need help, you can have your mommies and your daddies help you. And so the reason I decided to draw an eye is because God is so majestic. He's so powerful that he sees everything we do. And you're here today because you want to love God. You want to do what he's asking you to do. You definitely have the heart of wanting to obey. And so for this activity, I want you to draw an eye, color it super pretty, and just make a list of all the things that you want to be like Josiah. So Josiah wanted to do good. He wanted to be righteous. And most importantly, like he wanted to show God that he loved him. And so after you finish drawing your picture, I want you to just make a list of all the things that you want to work on this week. And so parents, I hope that you can encourage your kids to make a list of maybe things that they're not even aware of. Maybe letting them know, like, I talked to you yesterday and you just didn't listen to me. So I don't know what your mommies or your daddies are going to share with you, but you guys can totally work together and figure out how to love God, to obey God, and to just be a good example. A good example for your friends, a good example for your brothers and your sisters, and this will totally please your parents. Thank you for joining us.